Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It is March 6th, and we're going to take a look and see what's going on in the garden. Now, this seems to be a normal thing. Yesterday we picked up another load of compost. We're almost finished with composting in the garden. We've got a little bit left. We're taking a few of our little transplants out to the greenhouse this morning, and I figured it'd be an ideal time while we're out here in the garden before we get started uh, to take and see how things are going. So let me get my little wagon here, and we'll start going down and talking about a few things. Now, uh, we've got our chives are doing excellent. We're starting to see weeds pop up in here. We've taken and we've got our oregano all out. It's sitting here. It's doing well. And we've got our sage. This part of the garden that we started, I believe it was last year, it was new. This is where we're going to do our herbs. Now we've got to come up here and do some weeding. We get strong winds, it blows the seeds in, and so we've got to take care of them. This bed is not planted. This bed here is ginger, and then from just in front of that flag down is our turmeric. Now we've got our little tubs over here, and normally I don't come over to see them. Now most of what's going to be coming up in here is weeds. We're going to have to clean these out. We're going to put some of our herbs that we worry about sprawling too much, or lemongrass, stuff like that, up in here. We do have our tarragon. It's doing real good, and our summer savory, it'll start coming back. Now, our lavender, we've got one there. I have a real hard time growing lavender, so it's just going to be what it's going to be. This here is our peppermint, and this is our lemon balm. They're doing good. If you notice, whenever it had to freeze, it had damaged a few of the leaves. But as you can see, it's recovered fine, and it's ready to start producing. We've got some more tubs we've got to put stuff in. Our catnip's doing good. The only problem is keeping our catnip or our cat out of the catnip. It seems to think it's a bed. Let's zoom out a little bit, and we'll walk our way back up. Now, we've talked about these onions before. These are super sweets, and you can see we've got a whole lot of bare spots. Our onions really suffered during the cold, so we won't have as many, but it's not like we're going to be behind because we did preserve quite a few onions last year. Now this here is our Savoy Perfection cabbage, and these three plants here are our filter kraut cabbage. And then we've got our Michihili. Now this Michihili has been hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold, and you can see it's been bolting in the flower. So of course I'll take and cut some out to put in my smoothies that I make, but a lot of it's going to the chickens. Now this is basically, it's going to be all taken out. I'm thinking, I don't know if any will make it to the size. We're just taking out what's seeding right now. Our bok choy that was here, as you can see, there's only one left, and this one looks like it's starting to put a seed top out too. These all went to the chickens. Here's a few of them that's left too, but we had so many that we figured we'd wait and take some more out later. Our cabbages down here, these are our Savoys that we're going to leave to go to seed. They're doing good. I don't know if I can hold off Vicky from harvesting that one because she does like Savoy cabbage. Now we've got our tomato cages in. We've been setting our T-posts up. Down here for our row, we'll put our cages and we string a line to keep the winds from bothering them. Our peas are doing excellent. Our green peas, early peas, English peas, whatever you want to call them. We've already got our cages on here, and this is the way we do it. And then we actually wire our cage to this wire so it can't topple sideways. Because when tomatoes get up and to the top, there's a lot of weight on those cages. We've got our poles ready here as far as to put these in, and we'll get to the rest of those most likely today or sometime this week. We've got our peppers mixed in between. As you can see, they're doing good. They're transitioning real good. Now, I have had issues with some of my cabbages, and this could be dry rot or something. A lot of times I work around and I'll see ants, but I haven't seen ants around these. And these are actually not cabbages. These are broccoli. Trying to think, gypsy broccoli. I wanted to give you that variety. But when we put our peppers in, we put in peppers, and then we put, we go in between, like we've got tomatillos right here and such. Now, these are our cabbages, and they're doing pretty fair, most of them. As they die out or as we have a problem with them, we'll just take them out. But they're doing pretty good. Now we come down here, our carrots, they're starting to get some size on them now. As far as the normally when you get a good leafy growth, and then you got carrots down there that are starting to form. Now this one actually, hopefully it's good. There's two of them there side by side. Our strawberry bed is doing good. We had one little strawberry in the corner down here. It was really, really small, and it died, but just happened when we were redoing that bed down there. There was one strawberry that was missed, so we moved it up here with its family. Now our asparagus, we do have some that's growing up because we're not harvesting the small shoots off the younger roots. We are harvesting the others. She harvested yesterday, and you can see what happens sometimes just overnight. They pop up and go again. Now our thyme, it's doing good. Go in a little greenhouse here. We've got our cilantro. This cilantro starting to bolt. We'll take it out. Our Filderkraut cabbage that's in here is doing good, and our celery is doing good. And as you can see, these ones that come back from the base, they're putting on a lot of shoots. Unless you're just wanting big celery, this is perfect for us because we can come out here and we can just harvest off some of these shoots off of here anytime we need fresh celery, because the flavor is so much better too with this. Now these cabbages are doing good, but these are not near like are in the other greenhouse. These hadn't got quite as much water. The temperature is a little more fluctuating in here whenever it gets cold. It gets more like outside, and right now the temperature is fine, so they'll do a lot better. But so it's a little behind. Now we've got our red cabbage here. It's doing good except a few of them, and I had a whole lot that was laid over, and it could be because of the ground. It seems like they might be coming back, but I do have some spares put in. These were the older ones that were planted. Our dill, I think we've got it out perfect timing for when we finally get cucumbers. This will be up good and ready to harvest. We've got where our collards were, and we've taken them out, and you can just see how much garlic's come back in this bed from when we had elephant garlic in here last year. Whether some of the nodules that was missed, they grew back. Some started early. Some right now they're just starting out. They'll still make garlic, but it'll be a lot smaller. It's that's one of the great things about having elephant garlic. You can basically start it, and even though you're harvesting it, even if you don't plant it, because this was not planted, but there's an awful lot of garlic down this row. Now, right here, these cabbages were a later batch. They're a couple weeks behind as far as age, but they are coming on good. They're happy. And our cilantro here is really happy. This is our next batch that we'll be harvesting. We've got a little in the greenhouse that is doing good, and we did put a few radishes on the end of this row, so we didn't waste it and we can harvest them. But don't forget when you're planting your garden to drop those radishes in here or there. It doesn't take a lot. We have 2 cabbages left. Chances are neither one of them is going to amount to anything, but they are here, and we'll probably just end up feeding them to the chickens. We might get a meal out of them, but not much. Now our lettuce that's right here, this is our leaf lettuce. It's just about ready to harvest. We've got a beautiful red lettuce here. And then this our next batch of Michihili. And hopefully this one isn't affected as much as some of the others that were up there that we're going to have to take out. These should be more stable and not go to seed as quick. At the end, we've got some lacinato kale planted in here, and it's starting to take a hold. Now we're almost finished with our beds. We've got a little bit on this one, and then we've got to do those 2. She is doing a lot of weeding. We're going to have to pull up our walkway on the side, and we'll have to burn off that fence line, and we'll probably end up doing the same with this side over here to try to keep the weeds down this year. They're pretty tough, and you get a lot of seeds that come in that way. But with the slope of this garden, we do get erosion down here sometimes. In fact, I have a spot here, and but it's right here, it's a hole, and it's because the water comes down the side of the greenhouse and it comes across. I've tried to divert most of it, but I hadn't been real successful. That dirt actually washes up, and then it piles up on the walkway at the end and makes ideal growing conditions. Now, we've been having a much warmer year this year, and as you can see, our apple tree, I'm thinking this is maybe starting its 5th year, well, probably its 6th year. It hadn't bloomed yet. I'm hoping that it will bloom this year, but it doesn't show any signs of it yet. But it is starting to bud out and leaf, so won't be long we'll have green on there. This one here, though, well, no, it's just now starting with some leaves too. Now, this one did bloom last year, and we're hoping it does better this year. It did get some pruning. It really needed more, but we don't want to prune too much. But we did take and get it a little more in control and manageable. And we did set a lot of growth for fruiting spurs. So we'll see how that does, and we'll see how it does on this tree here. We've got a lot more blueberries in the garden now. We did have almost 2 rows. Well, and this one is really long. But now we've got 3. We put in these that had a vendor at the farmer's market that was going to take a year off, and he was selling out his inventory, and the price was just, I'd say, unbeatable, because these were $5 blueberry bushes. We did get our Roselle hibiscus in, and it's doing good. Now these transplants, we try to acclimate them inside the greenhouse. so that when we put them out, we don't have any problems with leaf burn stuff. And just happened we got these in when we had some mostly overcast times and some rain. Now right here, these were some that I got from that same vendor. Now these were actually $10 a piece, and I bought all my blueberries has been from him. But these are probably I'd say almost 4 foot tall if they stood up, and it probably needs something put in there like the one that's over there, where it's got a rod that held it up that and kept blowing over, but then it decided to take off and really go. But these are the Titans. These are the ones I start drooling when I think about getting blueberry from them, and hopefully we'll get a good crop, because they said they make them about quarter size, so that'd be great. We finally did get our rosemary in. This area here stays dry. It's at the end of a long drip line, and it's at the edge of the garden, so it does stay pretty dry. And so that's going to benefit these. They don't like a lot of water. Now these 3 little plants here I had planted from seed, so we put them in too, and these cabbages will be eventually harvested out. But this will be the rosemary area, and it's not with the rest of the herbs, because certain herbs like certain conditions, and so we don't want to end up putting these somewhere where the conditions aren't right. We've lost it the past 2 years and not recognizing that it was getting too much water where it was. So let's go around and see what else we got. But we've got everything planted, I think, except 7 rows. And I'm sure we'll have those planted in not so long a time period. Now we'll go down here. This was my pineapples. We cleaned up this bed, and we didn't take these out because we're hoping that they'll come back, maybe put a pup off the side or something, because they do have green growth still. So we're going to give them a chance to come back. It's not like we just have to plant something here, but if they don't show signs, you know, into spring a little bit, we can always use this row for something else. Sun's getting a little higher. Now, here's some more of our peppers and tomatoes in here. We left 1 row unplanted up there. These are our radishes that we put in here, and they're just now getting ready to harvest. We've got all kinds of things that we will be putting out. We're letting some of them get a little bit bigger. Now these are my watermelons, the different varieties, some germination better than others. My single seed pumpkin, and we'll be putting this in the ground today. And we've got our cucumbers. Now our cucumbers are, we're waiting just a little bit longer, not because of temperature. We're waiting because of, let's see if I can pop one of these out of here without destroying it. No, I think I've destroyed it. But until the roots get solid into their cell, we're going to leave them in their cell trays, give them a little bit more time. But we've got 3 trays of cucumbers and our squash. This is our yellow straight neck. Perfection is the name of the variety. It's once it gets just a little bit bigger, it'll go out. Our watermelons, they're going to have to go a while usually, and they should be starting to get their true leaves. And once they get good roots in their cell trays, that's when we'll take them out. That show they're active and they'll be able to root in better. Now we do have a few more peppers that we need to get out. Not very many. And we have some extra tomatoes and peppers up here. So if we need to replace a few. Now, this cabbage in here is the same as the others. It's filter kraut, and I don't normally grow gigantic vegetables, but this variety just really seemed interesting, and it's supposed to be real good to make sauerkraut and such. But it's just now starting to form its heads in here. I did leave considerably more room than I do with most of my cabbages because it was supposed to be bigger, and I spaced some out more than others to see if it made a difference. I will be saving seed off of this, and I'm hoping that the flavor is as good as they say it is. Now we have this cilantro here, and it's starting to go to seed, which once it seeds, puts its seeds, that's coriander seed. So, and it's easy to tell the leaves change. Now, I don't know how much the flavor changes, but there's still a lot that could be harvested, but this will end up being taken out too. Our gourmet salad mix or our muscovine mix is we've taken out a whole lot of varieties, either because aphids are tending to like those varieties for some reason, or because they start to bolt and get bitter. But we do have a little bit enough to keep us in salad. Now our parsley, it's easy to tell it's wanting to put out seeds. I'm not going to let the parsley seed this year because I've got a whole lot of seeds I've already saved. Over here we have our mushrooms, and I'm not sure which variety of mushroom this is that's on here because it doesn't look like the variety that's supposed to be there. Shiitakes, but I don't know when it starts out if it's different. This here was supposed to be lion's head, but it looks like, and I'm not sure if that's turkey tail or something else that was maybe had already inoculated that log. Up here we've got a lot of chives, and these will be going to the market. And we've got some propagations and stuff. These are artichokes. We need to get these in the ground. We have some flowers that we have potted up, and we're going to put a little area of flowers there. The borage is kind of big compared to some of the others. Now we have some bok choy here. This will go up where that other bok choy is coming out. This will go in the ground today. And we have some herbs in here. Now this was one I had a problem, couldn't grow last year, which is feverfew. And I have a few of them that's doing good. So hopefully I can get this one to maintain. Now this is our lavender, and as you can see, it's very poor. There's a couple of little plants, and they're really struggling. Here we have some more borage. This is great having your garden for bees. They really like it. And we have 4 different kinds of basil. We have the large leaf basil. We have a lime basil. We have a lemon basil, and we have a cinnamon basil. So this will be a great thing to see how the difference in the flavors of it. Our marshmallows here, our marshmallow plant, it's going to go out today too. It needs to be put out. We have some more celery. We'll have to decide what to do. And this is our next cilantro. It's ready to go in the ground. And of course, we've got a few more plants over there. I'm not sure. I know one of them is collards, and I think the other one is bok choy. Our citrus, they are blooming up a storm. They're really going at it. This is our orange, and this is our improved Meyer lemon. This is our 2-year-old grapefruit that we grew from seed. Now I trimmed it down some, but you can see it is putting up new growth like a vengeance, and it's needing to get in the ground. So we got to get our other greenhouse built. But these are also all our other citrus that are grown from seed, whether it's tangerines, red grapefruits, other grapefruit. Now we have it down in here, and you can see it. It's blooming. This right here is a Persian lime, I believe. Yes, this is a Persian lime, and I'm air layering another one off. I would like to have 2 lime trees. We do have some more lemon trees down here. These are not blooming, but these were air layered off the other lemon last year, and that one isn't blooming. But its counterpart over here in the next one is definitely blooming. And what I would tell people that if you want your citrus trees to get bigger, you need to keep the fruit off them for a little bit until they get to that point. But so we have so many varieties, like say clementine, orange, tangerine, everything imaginable, and we'll pick through these and decide what we're going to keep. And we have a lot of fig trees. We've got to go through this and pick out the varieties that I'm going to keep and plant in another row. One more row in the orchard. We have some spinach here that's really doing well, and our beets are doing well too. These are golden beets right here. And then right up here we have our red beets. And we still have spinach from the last crop. Occasional seeds pop up. And yes, we could let them grow, but it's a weed, and it's easier to take it out and not confuse the bed. We do have our avocado trees. This one is doing good. These other 2, I'm still questioning on how they'll do. I'm keeping them watered. This mango tree here is not doing too good, and our bay laurel now it's starting to come back with some new growth, and we'll probably go ahead and clip off all those brown leaves. This is our lemongrass that we need to get out. Here's all our rhubarb that we started from seed. All these are the same age, but some just grow faster than others. These will go in the bed next to the roselle hibiscus, so it'll get a good amount of shade during the days, and if we have to put shade cloth this year, we'll do it. Our banana trees are doing good. They're coming back. The one is up into the top to where I can't bring the leaf down, so we'll just hope for the best for it. It's going to have to fight to survive, but as you can see, the one is shooting up a new leaf, so it's doing good. We do have a few more spares. These are the spare red cabbage in case we need them. And our little carrot patch in here, which isn't big, that you don't need big, it's doing good. They're coming along just like they should. Over here, and we can look at the end of this bed. We had somehow missed putting a tomato plant, but it was an ideal place to put some borage out. This will be where our squash is going to go because it's a wider bed. But we have more tomatillos and peppers there. We did have a situation with our turnips. Now these are not the normal turnips. I normally like to plant purple tops. These are 7 tops. Now it looks like you start seeing bigger holes in the leaves, but these were holes that something ate when they were smaller, and we put some spinosad and neem oil on them, and it took care of them. The mustard down there is doing really good. And our onions. Now this bed fared pretty good, and I think this was crystal wax. Yes, this was crystal wax, which is a white onion, and it did pretty good. And these are starting to swell up some, so it won't be long they'll start bulbing. But these other rows were really bad. Now I'm contemplating just planting in amongst them. Either I need bunch of rows of cucumbers, so I could just string a trellis down here. All these ones that I was hoping would come back, but we got so much water from them that the tops just ended up dying off, rotting off, and so it left us with kind of a real sparse bunch. But there's enough room between the row to put our trellis down and go ahead and plant cucumbers, and these onions will do fine to get to maturity. Same thing here. We've got an empty space on the top. There's virtually none down to that point, and there's a lot of sparse areas. Same thing here. In this whole first part to the garlic, we have 2 onions, which is not too good. Now our garlic is really doing fantastic this year, and I credit a lot of that to not covering it, because last year when it really got down cold and had all those strong winds, I think the covering it and the moisture that it was holding in and everything really did a job on it. Some of these onions, like these red onions that's right here, they really did good, but they were a lot smaller. Plus, red onions seemed to do better. These were some that were still in the greenhouse that should have been put out, but they were way behind. And so we put these out for green onions, but what we'll probably do is go ahead and thin every other one or something, and let those go ahead and bulb up too. We have some lettuces down here. Now, we had some issues with some of the lettuces. This is a red romaine, and then we've got a romaine here, but this used to be all red romaine, but I don't know if I didn't water it enough. Now, this bed hasn't been redone because we were waiting for the onions to come out, so we decided not to redo half of it. But we've got all our head lettuces down here. We've got some Butter Crunch, I think some Black Seed Simpson, and such as that. And then we've got Savoy cabbage. And this Savoy cabbage is really planted in dense. I'm going to see how that does. Now, over here, we have our leek. Now, these were really stressed and really, really small if you follow along, but now they're starting to take hold and they're starting to grow. So these, at the rate they're growing now, it won't be long. They'll be in really good shape. But our other 2 garlics, that variety at the end, and it's same over here, it's doing real good. And this variety is doing real good. And I don't remember which one's which. One of them is silver skin, and it might be this one. And the other one is a purple garlic. But we'll see how well they do. But anyway, that's the way the garden's looking now. You can see there's a lot of changes. There'll be a lot of changes in the coming week. I'll try to keep you updated on what's getting close to being harvested. Of course, we do harvest a little bit here and there, and it's really wonderful time of the year to be gardening. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this update. And if you're not a subscriber, well, of course, take time to subscribe, hit that bell, select all, and give it a big thumbs up and share this video. Enjoy that gardening experience.